In this video, I want to show you how to create a motion graphic. That is, where you take a still and seem to pan across that image. Now you've seen this very often. Sometimes it's called the Ken Burns effect, although it's been used way before Ken Burns got to it, although he does it very, very well. So I've got my sequence, and I've got in that sequence, I've already imported a graphic, and this is a graphic, as you can see, off the iMac 27-inch computer. And my point in doing all this, in terms of the rhetoric, is to demonstrate to the user how wide this screen is. So with my graphic already brought onto my timeline, I'm going to move the playhead back to the beginning of this clip, and I'm going to double-click the clip in the timeline so that I'm bringing it into my viewer. And when I click the Motion tab, I can set controls. And those controls are going to affect what I see in the canvas. So the first thing I want to do with the playhead where I want it is I want to set a keyframe. You'll recall that a keyframe is where something different happens than what happened before. And I want to set one right at the very beginning so that I can initiate a change in what my viewer is going to show. And in this instance, I'm going to go to the center keyframe in the Motion tab, and I'm going to just click that button and set the very first keyframe. And this is how my movie is going to begin. But what I really wanted to do is I want to start with the image all the way to the left. So I'm going to hold down the Shift key, and I'm going to drag this image all the way to the left. Because what I want is to have my picture of the iMac 27 slide from the left to the right. I'm trying to demonstrate how wide this particular display is. So I've set my playhead, I've set a keyframe, and I've set the attribute, if you will, off my image. That is all the way to the left. And now I'm going to come out to where I want this image to stop being all the way to the left and move all the way to the right. So I'm just going to move my playhead. I'm being somewhat arbitrary here. And I'm going to set, with my playhead in the proper position, I'm going to set a second keyframe. And when I click that button, you can see that Final Cut Express shows that there is now a keyframe at that particular place in my sequence. And with the keyframe set, I'm going to grab that same image, and once again, I'm going to hold down the Shift key because I want to constrain its vertical movement. I'm just going to drag this image all the way to the right. And when I go back to the very beginning and replay it, you can see that I'm in effect panning across the image. To make these things happen is to first of all set the playhead where you want the action to begin, put a keyframe in at that point for whatever attribute you want to change, and then move the playhead to where you want the action to stop, set a keyframe there, and set the attribute for this position. And Final Cut Express will interpolate, that is, it'll add all the in-between frames, in this case, changing the location of the image from left to right. So let's just look at the finished product one more time. And when we play it, in effect, we're panning across that image.